So if you were to check in with businesses at this time of a pandemic, they wouldn't have very good things to report back. But there is one outlier among a few, and that's Reliance Industries. Uh, Investments have been pouring in to Reliance Industries owned Jio Platforms. It said that they have cracked 4 deals in 4 weeks now, beginning with Facebook, which picked up about 9.99% stake in Jio. And after that, we've had several leading tech investors pouring their money into the company. You've had Silver Lake, for instance, you've had Vista Equity Partners, and the latest is General Atlantic. Now, what's making Reliance Jio such an attractive proposition for leading tech investors? I'm going to direct that question to Tushar Gupta.
Hey Karan. So I think anyone who's having a ball in this pandemic, it's Mukesh Ambani because of his Jio platforms. But I think the starting for his platform has been really good. If Mark Zuckerberg is buying out 10% of your platform, something is really interesting about it. Of course, Zuckerberg had his motivation due to WhatsApp and creating a super app which would have taken the good world of WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram and merged it with the coverage that Jio has. Jio today has over 350 million subscribers, and the number is just going to go up. Now, assuming if Vodafone doesn't survive the kind of battle it is in with the Supreme Court and the government, Jio and Airtel will be looking at maybe 150 million more subscribers each. So Jio is in a great position that way. But it's not just about Jio or the pricing or Mukesh Ambani or Facebook. What has happened in this pandemic has people have realized the importance of e-commerce. Now, if you go back to March, the first few days of the lockdown, people were more interested to know if Big Basket and Grofers and things like and platforms like those will be able to deliver their groceries to their homes. They weren't interested in their travel plans. They weren't interested in their office plans. They were worried if the groceries would come home or not. And to pick some cities like Mumbai, Pune, Noida, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, a lot of these cities with great urban population density, formal workforce, they rely on such platforms. What happened during the pandemic as everyone was in a lockdown? Even the second and third tier cities started experimenting with the online delivery model. So what happened? You had many small Kiryana store owners trying to implement their delivery models and not being able to do it. So I think this was a great time for Jio to get these investments because they have been trying this. This is not something that's come out of COVID. I would like to specify that. I've been talking to a lot of Kiryana store owners for over a year now. And often a lot of people tell me that, someone from Reliance keeps coming along, helps them with a pilot project to see if they would be interested in such a platform. So the groundwork was being done, I think, a year or two before all this struck. It's just that this pandemic situation has accelerated that entire flow.
Right. Tushar, now we're talking about in these 4 deals over 67,000 crores of investment. That's a truckload. What do you think Jio can achieve with this sort of money? I mean, apart from clearing its balance sheet, which I also want to address to you.
See, I think they're getting the money, but this is not the end of the party. The party's just begun. Why? We are a nation of 1.3 billion people. By 2025, you're going to have a billion people. Now, understand, Karan, the investments are not coming for Jio or Facebook or because either of those. They're coming for India's first super app. Now, I'll go to China for a bit. China has this app called WeChat. Imagine all your apps on your phone rolled into one. Your payment app, your cloud storage, your music, your movies, everything rolled into one. Your social media, your WhatsApp, your payments, everything you can think of rolled into one. That is what we call a super app. Now, what happens within a super app? You have a very seamless access to all the apps, to all the services you might want to use. So, let's say you're using Uber while booking a movie. Right, you can always transact between those apps with great ease. This is what Jio is essentially trying to create. Now, Jio already has their Giga Fiber, which is their offering for home broadband. There's also JioMart in the working we just spoke about, but that's not about it. They're also looking at Jio Cinema, Jio Music, Jio TV, Jio Health Hub, Jio News, Reliance Digital was already there, Jio Engage, Jio Cloud. I mean, these are just some of the services they have mentioned. So the sky is the limit. They probably get into lending also at some point. For instance, we just had these reforms about agriculture. So what a JioMart would enable, a JioMart would enable that a farmer from his village can sell directly to consumers in the city. So these are the kind of facilitations that are going to happen. And imagine these kind of transactions happening between a billion people. This is why the money is coming in. There is great scope for expansion. I mean, at this time, you not even can cap at where this app will stop. It's a super app. And you just don't know how super it can be. The sky's the limit here. So that is why the money is coming. It's not just about these four equity funds in Facebook that have invested. At some point, even the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund was considering a hefty investment, as Bloomberg reported just a couple of weeks back, into Reliance Jio platform. And there already been, Saudi Arabia's government has, Aramco has already been in talks with Ambani's petrochemical business. So the governments and the company have already been on some kind of discussions. So a lot of people will be coming for this piece of cake, the Jio platform.
Tushar, finally, now with all these big plans, there's also one added benefit that since Reliance is looking to clear off its debt in lieu of the rapid expansion that it's had over the last few years, this is also going to help a lot in that direction.
Oh, absolutely. The Reliance aims to be a debt-free company very soon. And of course, they've moved from oil to data. So these investments will enable them to get debt-free. But also what it enables, apart from them being debt-free, it furthers more investments into the company, which is a good thing, right? We are creating India's first super app and the market is there. I'll just give you some rough numbers. Uber had some 14 million rides per week in 2019 in India alone. Zomato was delivering around 1.3 million orders every day in 2018. Big Basket has been churning out 150,000 orders every day. So they've been delivering 150,000 grocery orders, which were placed online every day. So Reliance is getting money all of this. Of course, it will help their debt situation. They will become debt-free in the long run. But I'm more interested in the kind of profits they'll generate. I'm more interested in the kind of questions that will be raised in terms of the competition. So that's the kind of things we should be looking for. Reliance getting the money is no longer a surprise. At some point, I won't be surprised if Warren Buffett also comes and invests in Jio Platform, given he's withdrawing his investments from everywhere else. So Reliance has a great future ahead. This is India's first super app in the making, and probably the world's first such open app, because China is very restricted in terms of its access. Even the WeChat app, though you can access it out of China, it's still very restricted in the kind of services you can have on that platform. Reliance Jio Platforms, they'll have a lot of services, localized services, and it's going to be a great employment booster. The best thing, it's not just going to be about urban cities, it's going to be about rural too. It's going to connect your second and third tier towns, your villages, your areas which are not under the current purview of, let's say, Ubers or Olas or, things like that. So this is going to be India's first super app that actually is digitally inclusive. So that's what's bringing all the money, and that's what's going to get them free of debt.
Great. Thanks, Tushar, for your insights.
Thanks, Karan.